All right. Hello and welcome to Colonial Outcast, your friendly neighborhood anti imperialist podcast. We're not really a breaking news platform, but we are going to try to do our best. It is Friday, 11:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at the time of this recording. And we are going to talk about the American citizen who was just murdered by IOF forces in West Bank. So this is breaking right now. This news story is about an hour old, or more like 3 hours old. Hang on, I might be getting a call from the families. No, not the family, but the aid workers with the family who are about to put out a press statement about the woman killed. But right now, we have this video of, well, I'll describe it to the people who are listening to the audio. So I think this is the mother, and they're in the hospital, and the daughter, we're going to name her in a minute, is laying on a medical table post-mortem. There is nothing the doctors they could do, which is what happens when you're shot in the head by a sniper of the Israeli Defense Forces.
We need to find our friend.
يلا يا اخوان هذا الرصاص الامريكي اللي بيتم دعمه لحكومه الاحتلال من كل بايدن قتل شعبه.
So she asks, how many more people have to die? Apparently a lot more. I think the U.S. government might start getting really mad if they kill 10 more Americans. So right now, what we do know is I'm pulling up the information right now, but we've got Aysenur Ezgi, 26-year-old American activist with Turkish origin, was executed, shot in the head, and killed by Israeli soldiers while participating in a peaceful protest in the town of Beita, Nablus, occupied West Bank. So that's what we've got so far. I mean, there is more information that's coming in again. Blinken just put out a press statement. The State Department spokesperson, Matthew Miller, regarding the killing of the American woman by Israel, he said, quote, "We are aware of the tragic death of an American citizen today in West Bank. We offer our deepest condolences to her family and loved ones. We are urgently gathering more information about the circumstances of her death, and we'll have more to say as we learn more. We have no higher priority than the safety and security of American citizens. Keep in mind, this is now the third American citizen who has been killed by the Israeli Defense Force. The Israeli military says it is investigating the killing of an American woman in West Bank earlier today. According to the IDF, during operations near the town of Beita, close to Nablus, troops opened fire at a quote main instigator who was hurling stones at the forces and had quote posed a threat. A claim that foreign citizen was killed by gunfire in the area is being investigated. The details of the incident and circumstances of her being hit are under investigation, the IDF adds. The slain woman was named Aysenur Ezgi Agi, 26, an American originally from Turkey. I don't know why people keep bringing this up like it diminishes her Americanness or something, Mark. She was reportedly an activist with the International Solidarity Movement. Of course, Biden said earlier this year, quote, "If you harm an American, we will respond." So to give context, the American woman was shot and killed by Israeli troops in the Israeli occupied West Bank Friday. This has been confirmed by just about everybody, both the State Department and the Turkish Ministry of Affairs. Palestinian Dr. Ward Basalat told the Associated Press that the 26-year-old woman, identified by the State Department, was shot in the head and died after arriving at the hospital. I'm in contact with activists on the ground. One of my contacts is a Marine who now, ex-U.S. Army Marine, who now lives in West Bank. He's who first alerted me. He's plugged into everything that's happening. So witnesses, activists, and Palestinian media said she was shot by Israeli troops. It's been established. It's confirmed. We don't need an investigation, obviously. Who else is going to have high-powered rifles in West Bank? I mean, yes, there are resistant factions, but it's so obvious. So the Israeli military said it's still looking into the incident, as we've established. It's going to investigate itself and find that it has done nothing wrong. Again, if 10 more times this happens, the U.S. State Department might start getting angry. But bottom line is we're still waiting on the press statement from the family. It's going to confirm what we already know. If during the time of the recording it gets sent to me, we'll read it. If not, we'll post it in the description. But we just wanted to come on here and acknowledge that this happened and look at how the media is reporting on this. So what do you got, Mark?
I just saw the Fox News actually did put out an article. I always like to check the right-wing media to see what their spin is, to see what they're telling their audience. And I'm surprised to see an actual quote that says Israel is trying to intimidate all those who come to the aid of the Palestinian people and who fight peacefully against the genocide. The statement reads, and that was Turkey's foreign minister. So it quotes the Turkish foreign minister. Of course, the title is saying American killed in West Bank. State Department says. You could just cut to the chase and say IDF kills an American in the West Bank. It would just be more honest.
No. They have to be given like 3 months to investigate themselves, and then we all just forget about it.
Yeah,
that's what we've got to do. So
no, you know what? They should use the word slaughter. IDF slaughters American, just like they say about October 7th, why they put that in bold headlines. Hamas slaughters Israelis. They need to just apply equal reporting standards if they're gonna do that.
Only terrorists slaughter people, and based off the United States definition, state actors can't be terrorists. Therefore, IDF can't be terrorists. Therefore, they can't slaughter anybody. They can only kill people accidentally because they got a loose cannon on the trigger. So we got the Guardian: American woman shot dead at anti-settler protests in West Bank. American activist shot dead during protests in West Bank. That's CNN, BBC. American activist shot dead in occupied West Bank. Al Jazeera. Let's see. American woman. Oh, CBS News has the better headline. American woman, Isaner Agi, killed at pro-Palestinian protest. Still, why does it matter if it's a pro-Palestinian protest in Israeli-occupied West Bank? New York Times, Middle East crisis. American woman shot and killed at West Bank protest. Reuters is the worst. U.S. Turkish dual citizen killed at anti-settler protest in West Bank. And Maktub Media, Turkish American activist killed. Yeah, so depending on the media outlet, some people are really playing up the fact that she's like Turkish American, as if that somehow diminishes her Americanness, or somehow diminishes her citizen status as an American,
as opposed to how they treat IDF soldiers who hold American citizens, dual citizen, such and such. So they never tend to highlight that.
Well, what we've seen is there are worthy American citizens, those who are either just American or Israeli American, and the Justice Department just issued warrants for Yahya Sinwar and Ismail Haniyeh and Mohammed Deif and some other guys, some other senior commanders within Hamas for October 7th because they killed American citizens. And I looked at this last night on the State of Play on Mint Press, and there's just a different standard for who is a worthy citizen and who is an unworthy citizen. So if you're Palestinian American or Turkish American, you're going to have less value than an Israeli American.
Which brings us to talking about the previous deaths this year and back in October.
Let's get into that.
So this was back in October. It was in another Palestinian American. A lot of you may remember Karam Duakat was killed during a confrontation in the occupied West Bank. So I believe the story was he was shot in the head through a truck window in the driver's side. And of course, his father was clearly pointing out that he was not a threat. IDF, their official statement was that he was throwing a rock. And his father said he doesn't throw rocks. He's 17 years old. He's not going to travel to the West Bank just to throw a rock at IDF soldiers. So,
well, I just read that IDF statement and said Israeli forces engaged like a prime agitator who was throwing rocks. And of course, when the family's press statement is coming out, it's going to say she wasn't throwing rocks. You know?
Yeah, yeah. No, exactly. I also read a statement that she was hiding behind a dumpster, her and a friend, to escape the gunfire, and intentionally shot in the head very precisely. I believe the statement was there was not a spray of bullets, or an excessive amount of bullets. It was very precise. The gunshot wound in the forehead. Now, this is not the first time a journalist was killed by IDF in the West Bank, an American journalist. There was Shireen Abu Akleh. On May 11th, 2022, Shireen Abu Akleh was shot and killed while covering an Israeli raid in the Jenin refugee camp in the West Bank. So a lot of this is very familiar in the world of journalism when it comes to Israelis killing American journalists in the West Bank. And it just, I believe a lot of this, now she was covering settler violence, obviously against agriculture, against the farmers in the West Bank. I'm always under the suspicion that, see, as opposed to the American, most Western media outlets that give the IDF the benefit of the doubt, I always do the opposite because they are known for targeting journalists. And I also see this as half an intimidation tactic because they can kill an American journalist, which obviously sends reverberations throughout the world of journalism. It's like a dog whistle. But also at the same time, writing that fine line of not appearing to be intentional to the rest of the world and to American audiences. So they're sending a message to journalists around the world while also sending a message to Americans saying, "Hey, it was an accident." So who knows? I mean, I have no official details on this particular incident, but I just always put Israel in the pattern that it has always fallen under. You know, when you have a criminal that's known for repeated crimes and he goes to court, obviously the judge is going to judge based on his previous crimes as well, taking that into consideration. That's my attitude towards Israel.
Okay, well, yeah, and real quick, I don't want to be like focused like all on this American citizen, but there are certain realities. You know, I think the West isn't going to care about dead Palestinians. Obviously, that's what we've seen. That's just like colonial history. They won't. And we are waging an information war, and it's kind of sad that obviously some life has more value and more value in information operations, trying to spread the word, trying to turn people against this monstrous genocidal regime. But we have to apply pressure and amplify voices and stories where available and where applicable. So that's why, you know, an American citizen is always going to get a little bit more attention. And I say a little bit, it's callous, but like this has to stop. So we have to like use whatever levers that we have. I should also say that 48 minutes ago, Haaretz is reporting that the Palestinian Health Ministry, a 13-year-old girl was shot dead by IDF fire in central West Bank. The Palestinian Ministry of Health, 13-year-old girl. It's a different village than the one the American citizen was shot in. According to eyewitnesses, clashes erupted between the IDF troops and Palestinians after Israeli settlers threw stones and set fields on fire in the village. What the hell? The West Bank is insane right now.
Yeah.
These settlers are out of control. And I would just like to point out Ambassador Jack Lew just put out a statement. This is Jack Lew, the U.S. ambassador to Israel. We are aware, and this is on Twitter, we are aware of the tragic death of an American citizen, Asinur Egi, today in the West Bank. We offer our deepest condolences to her family and loved ones. We are urgently gathering more information about the circumstances of her death, and we'll have more to say as we learn more. We have no higher priority than the safety and security of American citizens. Now, the comments section is blowing up right now, and we always look to social media now because it's a part of our daily lives, and it's important about how like information is transferred. So some of the contents are like, some of the comments are really good on this one. If the US government gave a crap, the statement would be more like, we are aware an American citizen was murdered today in West Bank. We will investigate and pursue the individuals responsible for this despicable crime with the fullest vigor, but the US government doesn't care, and neither does Jack Lew. Okay, yes, that's what's going on. Holy shit. Okay. 1 second, just waiting now. I think we've got the statement. I just got sent the statement from activists on the ground with the family. I am going to, so this is the short release, I think. Guys, let me double check this. Sorry. This is a live recording, just dealing with live ammo right now. Pulling up Instagram. So right now, we're still waiting for approval from the family for the long form release, but this is the short form release during the week, and it goes like this. Israeli army kills Turkish American citizen during demonstration in Beita, Nablus. So this is what the family has approved so far. During the weekly demonstration in Beita, Palestine, on the morning of September 6, 2000, it's September 6th, 2024. The Israeli army intentionally shot and killed an international human rights activist with the International Solidarity Movement. The demonstration, which primarily involved men and children praying, was met with force from the Israeli army stationed on a hill. The volunteer died shortly after being transported to a local hospital in Nablus. At this time, the family of the activist has requested privacy as they mourn their loss. Their wish to grieve in peace should be respected by all as they navigate this tragic and difficult situation. Okay, I need to respond real quick to the person who sent me this. But yeah, so that's where it stands right now. I guess until we get the long form statement, I don't think it's going to be on this episode. But where do you see happening from this, Mark?
I think that Fox News putting out an article, it's going to trickle into right-wing circles. Like I always say, always focus on right-wing circles because it tends to be a good barometer of where like that, side of America is thinking. So an American getting shot and killed by Israeli forces, yeah, you're gonna have people on the right who are going, oh well, she's Palestinian American because they're racist. But then you're also gonna start to have questions of like, okay, why are we being treated like second-class citizens in Israel? So you're gonna have, I believe, the American ego might get involved here. And I'm not saying that it's compassion or ridicule of Israel, but I do think that that a lot of Americans, especially your America First people, are focused on the American centrism, and because of that, they're going to be asking questions. Well, it's like, well, what the fuck? Our citizens are going to get killed, and we're not given any special attention. So, mind you, ego plays a big role in that. American ego can play a big role in directing attention on places that attention should be given, especially when it comes to the violence from the IDF. So there's a lot of avenues to bringing attention to what's happening to the Palestinians, even if it's right-wing American ego. Regardless, the end result is now Israel's on the radar with a lot of people that it would not have been on the radar with, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to move the needle. I think
nah, not really, but still,
you bring in right-wing stuff, but dude, a lot of these people are just going to be like, it's collateral damage. They were throwing rocks, they're endangering Israeli soldiers. It's war. I love when people say it's war because either like they've been to war and have never had therapy, or they've never been to war.
Well, yeah,
it's just fucking war.
But see, I look at right wing as a spectrum. It's
Right.
You have that section of the right wing that's like that. Look, it's fucking war. Fuck them all. What was she doing over there anyways in the West Bank? Why is she over there mixing in with the terrorists? You're gonna have that, but then you're also gonna have like on the sliding scale over here, the America First crowd that they're not anti-Palestinian. They're maybe a little half-cocked pro-Israel, but then they're also kind of like, well, that was an American citizen. So they're thinking from the perspective of, okay, why are we normalizing American citizens getting killed by the IDF? Because that could happen in another country and we might not give a shit then too. So you have that too. So you have to think of the right wing as a spectrum. You can't think of them as a monolith, consistent
But like,
texture all the way through.
why are we even focusing on the right wing? Like,
Because that's part of my job. Like that's part of my job is to keep my eye on that side. Well, no, we have to have it's opposite. Well, you can call it opposition research. You can call it also like trying to figure out ways.
I guess what I'm getting at is if we're calling the right wing a spectrum, liberals are also on the right. They're a right wing. Democrats are a right wing party. So
here's the difference.
I guess you're right. Okay.
But here's the difference. Here's the difference that I see. And I've been thinking about this a lot this week, actually. I've been giving a lot of thought into this. Do you know what is unforgivable about the liberals and the Democrats? Whereas I can almost forgive in the right wing. And I'm not apologizing for the right wing, but here's the difference. See, most people in the right wing are very ignorant of international affairs, of suffering around the world because they are so America focused, right? So a lot of them are just plain ignorant. They don't even know the reality for Palestinians. They're still under the post 9/11 indoctrination that they're all terrorists. However, just like myself, I was one of those guys. I was that right-wing dude who thought that Palestinians were like freaking terrorists until I went over there and said, oh shit, they're actually very traditional, family-oriented with family values, faith-driven society. And that completely changed my mind about it. I can bet you that if I were to show Palestinian reality and Palestinian culture to the right wing at one time in this hypothetical button where I pressed a button and boom, all the right wing saw it, I guarantee you a large section of them would be pro-Palestinian, very anti-Israeli. Guarantee you that. Now, so I can forgive them.
This is an academic argument because that will never happen.
It will never happen in that literal sense, but it can happen in a slow trickle. The more that people reach out to the right wing and put down their little, petty tribalism against the right wing.
Okay, so how can we mobilize this? Because we're getting off track. Like, how can we mobilize what just happened to do that?
I say talking about her. I say bringing up her name, talking about Isanar, talking about her, highlighting her life, what she did. She was a psychology major at the University of Washington, and with a minor in Middle Eastern languages and cultures. I say just humanizing her and even Americanizing her as much as possible and say, hey, this was I know you don't care about Palestinians, but here's an American. She was very American. She ate cheeseburgers. She went to watch movies. She watched football once upon a time or something like that. You basically just show her as a human being in front of people in the right wing and say she was an American just like you, with the same American reality that you have, who drives the same American streaks that you do. And then you talk about her life.
I don't think you're wrong. It's just freaking insane that we have to play these stupid ass games with these idiots. But yeah, here's some more footage of the Kazovac. So yeah, looks like those are olive trees, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we're trying to confirm if this video is of the actual extraction or if it's just some old footage. So yeah, paramedics in yellow vests, presumably to protect them from snipers. There's some protesters with baklavas on. Of course, if you're going to protest in Palestine, I recommend you covering your face.
Absolutely.
Is this her? It looks like it could be. Yeah.
There's a purple sweater jacket. Was it?
Yeah, I'd have to recheck the footage, but
I guess get confirmation from your contacts.
Yeah, I know. We're just still waiting for the family. I guess now, guess who has put out a statement, though? Hamas breaking now. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, the Islamic resistance movement Hamas condemns in the strongest terms the crime committed by the Zionist occupation army in targeting the American solidarity activist Isanar Agi with a direct bullet to the head, which led to her martyrdom while she was participating in a weekly peaceful march against settlements in Jabal Sbeh. I'm sorry, my Arabic's trash. And the town of Beita, south of Nablus. We consider this heinous crime an extension of the occupation's deliberate crimes against foreign solidarity activists with our Palestinian people, which have claimed the lives of dozens of them, perhaps the most prominent of whom is the solidarity activist Rachel Corrie, who was crushed under the tracks of the occupation's tanks in 2003. These crimes continue in the West Bank with systematic and continuous attacks on solidarity activists by the occupation army and its settler gangs, as happens in all peaceful solidarity events and marches in the villages and towns of the West Bank threatened by settlement in Judaization projects. I may have changed that language a little bit, but they said what they said. The Zionist extremist government and its terrorist army, that's okay, cool. Through these crimes to terrorize and suppress every voice calling for the freedom of our Palestinian people or standing in solidarity with them in the light of the criminal settlement and Judaization projects and an ongoing comprehensive genocide war waged against them without the official world moving a finger to stop it. We call on the international community, the United Nations, and all its political, humanitarian, human rights, and judicial institutions to act immediately to rein in the occupation government and hold it accountable for its fascist behavior. All right, now they're speaking my language that denies all international laws. We also call on the U.S. administration to review its biased policy and support for the crimes and massacres of the occupation against our Palestinian people, which today led to the killing of an American citizen by the bullets of this criminal army.
I find no issue with that statement at all. Even the Judaization project, that's what they are. They're Judaic extremists. Like these settlers are not. That wasn't a shot across the bow to Jews. What that was, it was a statement on just like every religion has its extremist elements. Judaism has it as well, and these are not just secular secular movements. They're part of a Judaic cult that most Jews obviously frown upon greatly, but I find no issue with that statement. In fact, that was a very well thought out statement, and they use more honest language than our media does, in my opinion. But,
yeah. So, I think, I don't think there's going to be a massive press statement today from the White House. I think they're going to use the weekend to kind of let this blow over. And
I can already see one of the press members grilling Matt Miller as he's offering his boilerplate statement. Like, listen, we don't dictate to Israel its policies. We're still investigating. It's just been like 9 months of that from the White House. Just these boilerplate statements that are so boring and pretentious. And that's all I anticipate coming out of this as far as the White House is concerned. So,
go
ahead.
You finish.
No,
okay, so we know what the White House is probably going to do, but we actually know what Israel's doing right now. So 10 minutes ago, while this story's breaking, if you're listening to the audio, they're quoting a German far right wing mag. So from BILD on how the international community can be manipulated by Hamas. Are these guys for friggin' real right now? A previously unknown document from Hamas's military intelligence shows how the terrorists manipulate the international community, torment the hostage families, and plan to rearm. It also reveals that they are just as indifferent to a quick end to the war as they are to the suffering of Palestinian civilians. The document in which Hamas outlines its negotiation strategy was found on a computer believed to belong to the terror leader Yahya Sinwar. Horrifying. This is what the Hamas leader is planning with the hostages. Okay. You know what? Shall we construct a reply right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good one.
Yeah. Okay. So, wait, I think I have the battalion. 1 second. The battalion who killed her.
Oh.
Yeah, 1 second. Pulling up Signal right now. Signal. Where the frick? I can't find my apps anywhere. Okay. Here we go. I'm just going to ask something. Do you condemn the murder of an American citizen by your Haruv battalion attached to the Shimron Sumerian regional brigade? To the, I can't believe I'm live tweeting while doing this freaking episode. Attached to the Shimron.
I like it. We got to do this more.
Sumerian regional brigade. We know why you're choosing to release this agitprop right now. Is that the right term? Agitprop? Agitprop. Political propaganda. Yeah. Okay. But it's political propaganda meant to agitate people.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Boom. Replied to Israel's official social media account. Hell yeah, I got there quick too.
Boost the comment, guys. Boost the comment.
Yeah, I think I might ratio them in the comments. I'm used to ratioing like Brian Mast and shit and like other like corrupt US politicians, but hopefully it'd be cool if I did it with Israel. So let's see if Brian Mast is saying anything.
That fucker.
No, he's not. Okay. Well, guys, I don't think we're gonna get the statement from the family during this episode, but I think we've covered the main points. We've talked about the media bias. We've seen the statements between U.S. officials when an Israeli American is killed and when an American who is not Israeli is killed, or someone from, the East, West Asia or Turkey, the Anatolia. So I don't think anything's going to come of this. There's going to be outrage. It's going to blow over. Liberals are going to ignore it and be like, yay, Kamala, vibes. And yeah, but we won't forget.
But it gives us an opportunity also to talk about Shireen Abu Akleh, the other journalist who was killed in the West Bank. So this is from Bellingcat. So Shireen Abu Akleh, a prominent Palestinian American journalist working with Al Jazeera, was killed by a gunshot wound in the morning of May 11th, 2022, while reporting from Jenin, a Palestinian city in the West Bank. She was covering a raid that was being conducted by the IDF, one of several raids that the Israeli military has conducted in Jenin, some of them deadly amid rising unrest in recent months. So in the aftermath of Abu Akleh's killing was captured on videos that were quickly shared on social media. The footage shows the chaotic moments after the journalist was shot, including attempts by others to reach her body. And obviously nobody was convicted. It says later in this article, that at the time, Israeli Prime Minister was Naftali Bennett. So this is here you go. So he initially claimed that there was a considerable chance that armed Palestinians who fired wildly were responsible. But in a later press conference, Israel's defense minister Benny Gantz stated, "It can be Palestinians who shot her. Tragically, it may be on our side. We are investigating it." They investigated.
Well, obfuscation is the most blatant thing that we do. Like even the U.S. forces did that. During the Haditha massacre, which we just did an episode on, the original the Marines killed 24, executed 24 innocent Iraqis, and the Marine Corps' official statement was they took fire from terrorists, and then after they left the scene, the terrorists came and killed them. So this is an old trick that's been around since the early days, the early days of the global war on terror. So I don't think we're going to see anything different. I think the IDF's going to investigate itself and then find that they're not sure where the gunfire came from. It could have been from Palestinian militants who were throwing rocks, who were endangering their soldiers, or it could be like a guy who's being who's kind of like a wild card. He's being internally disciplined. So I think again,
Yeah, and I hate those. I hate it when they just pin it on like one soldier, like a fall guy. This is, oh man, it was a bad apple, man. He's been having issues for a while. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Is that one guy? I mean, what are you gonna do? We'll try to change our policies or something. We'll give like sensitivity training or some shit. Right here though, this is for it says witnesses, including journalists who were with Abu Akleh when she was killed, claimed that IDF soldiers opened fire on them without warning, and that they believed they were deliberately targeted as journalists. Now, key point is she was a journalist. And again, I'm going a few steps ahead without confirmation, which is what I do, and that is that I believe she was probably targeted because she was a journalist, as an intimidation, as a low key dog whistle intimidation tactics for everybody in the journalist world, which like the killing of the journalist who was reporting on the Hamas of the head of Hamas, the political wing in Iran and Tehran.
Yeah.
When they bombed his house. So
well, they put out a statement. Both Hamas put out a statement. Local media put out a statement. This is obviously a intimidation tactic. I don't think it was like came down from higher up, be like, yeah, shoot that American citizen. I think the IDF sniper just shot someone who looked like prominent in the crowd, and I'm not sure if she was directly targeted because she was an American and they wanted to deter international or foreign solidarity activists, but I'm sure we'll find out eventually, not through Israeli or American investigations, but through independent journalists and people from non-Western media outlets. So we're still waiting on this press statement. It's not coming out right now. We'll post it in the description of this video when it does. I think that's it for now. We talked about the circumstances, the propaganda, the official statements of the U.S. State Department, of Hamas, all the actors involved, and that's where we'll leave it. We'll probably circle back on this Monday. So happy fucking weekend, y'all! Yay! Isn't life, the universe, and everything grand? All right, guys. Well, I wish I could give you like a pep in your step. We were supposed to do a F Around Fridays on Patreon, which is our like whole comedic joke section, but don't really feel like doing it, but we'll make it up to you sometime in the future. All right.
Well,
cheers, y'all.
Hold on. Little call to action. Show this information about this American who was just murdered by Israel to your right-wing uncle. So pick 4 right-wing people in your life, show them the information, and that's the best you can do, and let's see what it does. Let's just do an experiment to see if it does anything to them. You never know. You might grab somebody on the right and pull them over to our side. I always believe in that type of thing. So
damn, that was a good call. Maybe we should start doing call to actions at the end of every episode.
Look, and here's where I'm at. And just real quick before we hang up. Here, back to what I was saying about how I am more forgiving of the right wing than I am the left wing or the Democrats, is because the Democrats are not ignorant about what's going on.
Should know better. They should know better.
They know it's a genocide. They're privy to all the information we are. They're privy to international affairs. They have no excuse. They know what's going on, and yet they're still apologizing for it knowingly. So it's willful ignorance, as opposed to the right, where a lot of them are just plain ignorant. You got willful ignorance on the right, no doubt. I'm not saying that you don't, but I would say a large chunk of them are not willfully ignorant. They're just ignorant. And if they knew the truth, and I have converted a lot of right-wing people to this movement. I have never been able to convert somebody who's a Democrat in this movement who hasn't already doubled down on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's actions and the Democratic Party in general's complicity in all this.
Oh, that's true.
So look at it from that angle, guys. I'm not apologizing for right-wing racism. I am apologizing for a lot of their ignorance, though. So that being said, go pick 4 people in your life who are right wing and show them this info. You never know. You might catch a fish. Just saying.
Yeah. It just takes a small stone to start an avalanche. All right. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the call to action based off of this tragedy. So we'll see you next week, guys. And thanks for listening. Cheers. Good night.
Peace.
Good luck. And F Israel. All right. Bye.
Bye.